Time is running out, people, in this episode. Yes, it is correct. And it officially began yesterday. The XRP price chart is, of course, the major announcement for which everyone is watching this video. Where are we heading? What's happening outside? What do we want to find? I've got you covered. Next, we'll examine the XRP ETF, as the new video has surfaced at a time when its approval rate is truly 70%. Now without further ado, take a seat and unwind. Let's get started on this. 96,813 hours is the current value of Bitcoin. Ethereum is presently trading at 2683, up almost 1% over the last day. XRP is leading the way, up more than 11%, and it's up 1.1%. Averaging 2,071 cents with the entire cryptocurrency market cap remaining in place. It was only slightly higher an hour ago, hitting between USDT and USDC at 275 and 277, all of which are close to the dollar pegs. At $3.02 trillion, XRP appears to be a solid investment. I adore it. This is what we need to focus on at the moment. Bitcoin must actually take off. Bitcoin must emerge and soar to the top. That's what I'm seeing and what I dislike. What I'm seeing now could change, because Bitcoin is about to have another minor correction down to the lower $90,000 zone. XRP has increased in value. It is also feasible that Bitcoin will not adjust and will instead surge to the $100 to $104,000 region, when it will likely reach its highest point ever. Although that is the ideal situation, what we have observed with XRP in the past, because market makers or someone else knows that Bitcoin is about to take another drop, XRP will pump before everything else, especially during this cycle, which began in November 2024 and continues to this day. This allows XRP to maintain its structure. By that, what do I mean? Very easy. Therefore, if the market makers, manipulators, or whatever term we like to use, are aware that Bitcoin is going to plummet once more, which is our low, the market as a whole is dragged down by the lower $90,000 range, which is between 90 and 92. Since XRP knows that it cannot fall any lower and that a decline in Bitcoin will cause the market as a whole to fall, it must stay above important trading levels where the support is located. Thus, we have been witnessing an increase in the price of XRP. Therefore, XRP essentially stays in the same structure and above the same support lines as Bitcoin begins to decline. Therefore, it can continue on its upward trajectory when it is not broken. Eventually, it is borrowed. I'm keeping my eyes on this because, if you've been paying attention, it's really fascinating. The XRP chart is shown here. On Sunday the 2nd, you can look back. Following the collapse of XRP, we currently see a small U-shaped pattern. We're still in the woods, aren't we, forming? We must close the gap above it's at 282-ish, and we need to close over that. If we're very positive, we'll see a larger run up into that mid-$3 region, and we need to close above $3. However, the 4 out of 1 day to 1 month trend for XRP is currently quite optimistic. Around 230 is your lower aim to the downside. I would actually have Bitcoin lying between the bottoms of this candle if it wanted to correct. The correction would fall between 230 and 250, which is still acceptable because XRP would still be in structure at that time. By the conclusion of Q1 and the start of Q2, we would be prepared for the next move, which will put us back into the $3 zone, retesting the all-time high, and eventually pulling us out of there and into the $4 to $5 level. Having stated that, how does the chart for Bitcoin appear? It doesn't appear to be as good as we had hoped, which is related to what we just discussed, isn't it? Since we are bearish on Bitcoin and believe it will have another minor decline in the next day to a month, XRP is gaining in order to maintain structure. As you can see by Bitcoin and this green line, they will continue to be optimistic. The green wave to see the mouse, we can give you a call. To stay bullish, it must remain above that. Which targets are those? Well, it's currently at 96,000, which is about between 90 and 91,000, the numbers we discussed. Bitcoin may return to the precise range we just described, which is 90 to 93 with this crucial breakdown pattern. It will simply seize liquidity there before making its upward move, but it would still be optimistic. Your first target to watch for after this breakout is finished is above 105. We will surpass the record high and reach the entire $115,000 to $120,000 area after 105 is surpassed. That's exactly what we've been preaching and discussing on this channel for the last, I'm not sure, 2 months or so. It all boils down to what Bitcoin is going to do and where blockchain backers will be involved in its future movement. Like, hey, XRP is on track, but we probably have more chop left. This is the chart. On Coinbase, you can view the daily exchange rate between XRP and the US dollar on your left, as well as the 4-hour at a little step. He thinks we have a bit more chop here on your right now. As you can see, I believe that this small red area is the ultimate retreat zone that XRP may reach. Will we make it there? According to a reliable cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, they don't actually rely on it. Last night, he tweeted something. At first, he expressed his belief that XRP might run and first dip into these lows before rising. The X-shaped mark is seen between 220 and 226. He believed that we might have sucked up liquidity there before soaring to this local high zone, which would place you in the range of 270 to 320. Okay, overnight following the move. According to him, it appears that we will first target the range high. After that, he says, things will shift a little and Bitcoin will be able to break above 100K. However, if it fails to do so, it will eventually gather more liquidity in the lower $90,000 region before pushing back up to the upside to reach it. Approval of the XRP ETF is now 70% likely. Pay attention. You know, this morning I was reading an analyst's opinion. According to them, despite the fact that administration in the US is shifting, XRP is the ETF with the lowest chance of being approved due to previous lawsuits. Which ETF was I referring to at the beginning of this show? In your opinion, which is the least likely and which is the most likely? Look at this speed. Since James Safer, my colleague at Bloomberg, is an expert in this field, I defer to him. Since it's far better for Memphis than I am, I shall follow his predictions. He is placing a 90% chance of market movement, a 90% possibility of the Litecoin ETF being approved as the first one, and a 70% chance on Doge and XRP after that. I wouldn't have any stake in that game, so I would just quote him on it because he might have. Those figures appear to be good. In fact, I believe it's both, and I'm quite optimistic about 90%. However, as you point out, this administration has been so supportive of cryptocurrencies that it may not be enough positive. Therefore, I believe that the regulation change has happened so abruptly and dramatically. We're still figuring out what that means for the release of these products. Look, XRP will soon have its own ETF. This year, it will happen. The only question is when. What time will it arrive? Q2, as I understand it, or will we need to hold off until later in the year? The cost increases with its early arrival. If XRP is projected to you are aware if we can obtain the ETF, we'll be all about the news and setting things up on this channel. It will cause the price of XRP to rise even further just when we are in the midst of a pump. And Q1 is where it all starts. We are confident that later this year, our XRP will provide us a double-digit XRP. That's what I'm hoping for. The targets are those. We'll have to wait and see. We could reassess the asset to see whether we enter that $4 to $5 range after we see what transpires at the end of Q1. The countdown, you know what? The SEC has admitted it. Folks, this is a huge first step. None of these ETF applications have received recognition from the SEC. The fact that Grayscale is turning the trust into an ETF has been formally acknowledged. This indicates that they are aware of it. They will be examining the documents for 240 days. Is the clock 239 days old, or has it begun? The clock is shut off by the clock girls. Eventually, the clock has started. Similar to Bitcoin, this ETF will be approved. It simply took a long time. At last, it was pushed through. I believe that obtaining clearance for XRP will be more simpler and quicker because we already have approval for Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs.